Welcome back to the pod. Today we're talking about a 28-year-old fullback who was played as a winger as well, called Jon Gallagher, born 23rd of February 96. He grew up in Blackrock in Louth, where he started playing under 6 for the local team Blackrock until around 2005, when as a 9-year-old he and his family moved to various countries such as Jamaica, the US and Singapore due to his dad's job and every Irishman's dream job who worked in Guinness's. There he continued to play football as a kid with clubs like Beachside SC in Connecticut in the US from 2008 to 2010 and Home United from 2010 to 2012 in Singapore. In 2012, at the age of 15, he and his family felt it was a turning point in his career and it was a viable option for him in football. But to do so, they would have to go to the other side of the world at that stage, from Singapore back over this side of the waters, not to Ireland unfortunately, but to the UK to maximise opportunities. Therefore, they made the tough decision that he himself was going to move, go to boarding school. It was a good plan. Obviously, the UK is where a lot of young Irish hopefuls go anyway, so yeah, smart move. The move was brave but calculated as well. While there, he had trials with the likes of Newcastle and Blackburn, also reportedly Juventus and Marseille. So a good, amongst others it has to be said, but a good CV of trials. He came close, possibly closest with Blackburn. Maybe he was there for about a month, 6 weeks I think. But ultimately, at the time, he didn't get picked up by any pro team. Maybe lower division teams would have come calling if he had stuck it out there. But after schooling, he and his family decided the best option was to get an education as well as continuing your footballing career. With the connections in the US, he returned to Connecticut, went the US college route and went to Notre Dame to get again that college degree and the US college route, which again you get the education but you also have a clear path into football at a high level with the ultimate route of getting into the MLS. A pathway if all went according to plan, of course. For most, in all aspects of football, no matter what route you choose, most don't make it. That's just in every walk of life, that's the way it is. But Jon had shown the grit and determination, also the intellect, had a good support group behind him in his family. In addition, they had that support group in the US, and obviously his skill on the field, perhaps most importantly the hard work ethic and leaving no stone unturned. Therefore, in 2013-2014, as a now 18-year-old, he moved to US college football, as I said, with University of Notre Dame until 2017. He could have made the jump in circa, I believe, 2017, January of 2017, to the MLS draft, but he decided to hang on to complete his business degree, i.e. putting off the opportunity of being in the draft that year until the following year, which again shows the smarts and long game plan mentality the guy has. Overall, in his time with Notre Dame, he scored 36 goals, 84 games, in 84 games. So basically a 1 and 2 game goal ratio, so impressive stats. Therefore, on the 19th of January 2018, the now 21-year-old, soon to be 22, was selected by Atlanta United in the MLS draft. There he went on to play 38 times with 7 goals between 2018 and 2019 for the Atlanta United second side in the USL, which is basically the second tier of US football. So the trajectory was on course for the player. The Atlanta United team at the time was managed by the former Barcelona, Argentina and Inter Miami, amongst others, manager Gerardo Martino, and were on the up. They just won, or that season won, the MLS Cup. A regular with the first team in training and on the bench for several matches, the player himself was happy to bide his time and wait for his opportunity, which shows a good professionalism, a good temperament, where others may have felt they weren't getting the opportunity, and might have been pushing for a move. He was happy to wait his chance, which he knew would come. And he was right, as his first foray into the pros came shortly thereafter, albeit not with Atlanta, when the club decided to get him first team experience, that vital first team experience that every pro needs to start the ball rolling on their career, to enable him to progress by sending him on loan on the 22nd of June 2019 to Scottish top flight side Aberdeen, who are historically a big side as well in the Scottish Premiership, and they'd made inquiries about him, so fair play to Atlanta, they let him go, as opposed to maybe stunting his growth by keeping him there on the bench, as a backup. Now, the loan initially was for the remainder of the MLS season, so it wasn't a long-term loan, so they weren't really risking losing him for the season. There was only a short while left in the MLS season, but Aberdeen were so impressed they negotiated to hang on to him for the full 1920 2019-2020 Scottish season. In total, he turned out 31 times, one goal in all competitions at the still very young age of 23, but now he has that vital first team experience. At the end of his loan with Aberdeen, the now fully fledged player rejoined the Atlanta United side midway through their 2020 MLS season, so he didn't really have a break at this point. But not that he's going to be complaining at the start of his, just after breaking into his first full season as a pro. And as expected, when he came back, he hit the ground running with Atlanta, becoming an integral part of their first team for the remainder of the 2020 season, turning out 16 times, 4 goals in the remainder of that season. As I said, he was now 25 and had become a wanted man, and new MLS side Austin FC brought him in from Atlanta on the 1st of July 21, ahead of their inaugural MLS season. His impact was immediate, scored their first ever home goal in the MLS. At Austin, he has again become an integral part of the club, is a cult hero, one of the first names on the team sheet, has transitioned to fullback from winger, although he could easily play wing still and forward. He's 138 appearances to date, 12 goals in all competition, with Austin signing him up in early 2023 to a new 4-year deal, expiring 31st of December 2026 with an option of a further year, showing how much they value him as a player. Also worth noting, last season 2023 was named in the MLS All-Star Team games, showing how highly he is rated with his club and also by the league as a whole. Internationally, he has to date not represented Ireland at any level, but you'd have to have his name in the mix in the conversation at this stage again, in my opinion, for a while now in the senior setup for Ireland. Obviously, with players, again, I don't know why it isn't in the mix, but obviously with players being in the MLS, perhaps eyes aren't on them as much as over this side of the water, although, again, in my opinion, they should be. You'd imagine the FAI should have scouts there watching matches here too on the TV or computer, however, it's easy to get access to all matches now, so there's no real excuse not to be keeping tabs on them. So either they are, and for some reason they haven't decided to call them up yet, or they're missing a beat. In my opinion, again, it's possibly the latter. They're missing a trick here, keeping tabs on potential American born Irish eligible players as well as Irish players in the MLS. There's a lot of Irish heritage in America. I'm not talking about John here. He's obviously born in Ireland. He grew up here until the age of 9 again. But historically, there'd be people that you could get on the grandfather rule that are in America, in the MLS or whatever. So really should be a hot pot of possibilities for Ireland in this. It's harder for players to get opportunities in the UK, even to be playing week in, week out. So a league that has potential Irish eligible players, you'd imagine that's something we should be keeping a closer eye on, but it doesn't seem to be the case. The MLS is, depending who you ask, the equivalent of the English Championship, Scottish Premiership, English League One level. In my opinion, the first two, the English Championship and the Scottish Premiership, Therefore, if we're taking players in from those leagues into the Irish senior side, why would you ignore the MLS and players like Jon that are playing week in, week out, starting week in, week out and excelling? Seems mad to me, as I said. He should have at least been in squads at this stage to assess him, whether or not that's qualifiers, Nation League matches, or just friendlies even. Again, I just can't compute why he hasn't even been in a squad, you know. But especially as a fullback as well. Like now again, he can play multiple of positions, but as a fullback, there's opportunities there at present and in the next few years. So he's in his prime, 28. Really, again, I can't understand why he hasn't been in the conversation. Would he have to move to Europe or even the UK to get noticed? Surely those days are behind us, especially going forward. A lot of players going all over the world now. That's what our whole podcast is about, especially with direct flights as well from the US. Again, that's not a new thing, making it very accessible. And the world we live in, of the digital media, you can get matches from anywhere in the world now. So there's no real excuse. In my opinion, I would put him into the next Nations League squad in November. Why not? He's first team starter week in, week out in a top league in his prime at 28 with a full season behind him at a close now. So he's almost at a close. Well, it is at a close, but there's still matches going on. I don't think Austin have any more matches. He's 100% match fit coming into November international window, which is just 2 weeks away. When this goes out, actually, it'll be less than 2 weeks away. As I said, he's capable of playing multiple positions. So again, in my opinion, on merit and performance, deserves to be in the squad. Perhaps an exciting offer for him and his club will come in January, but I'd imagine he will hang on for another season in the MLS with Austin, where he's very happy, it would appear. So I imagine he'd hang on there next year and perhaps move January 26. But again, why should he? Would he have to? Why would he have to move? Again, he might want to move. That's the different. But should he have to if he's happy there and he's happy with the financial package they've given him last year, and you know it's a high level? Why should he have to leave the MLS? The player and his team have showed real intellect in all their choices and decisions in his career so far to date, and that's really a essential factor in where he is today in his career. So you'd imagine they will have a plan for the future and do what's best for him, of course, understandably. Just to note, in theory, he could represent the US as well if they came calling for him, if he so wished. I presume to date he's rebuffed any interest from the US camp, but he is a US citizen, so that could be an avenue open to him if the Irish call didn't come and the US call did. If you liked the video, send us a subscribe, like, comment. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we'll be watching.